Hello and welcome back to the podcast. We are back with Mary and we are talking Northern Kingdoms. Say hello, Mary.
Woo woo.
Honestly,
Hello.
I had so much fun talking about Friday with you. And I cannot wait. Like, oh God, the plot from this weekend was so spicy. I
It was
cannot
so
wait
good.
to hear about what happened with Caltaine on the Saturday because oof the boof.
Oof is the one. Oof is the
Yeah.
only like sound that kind
Yeah.
of vaguely sums it up. Really.
Yeah. So brief recap. Shenanigan ensues. Malarith is lovely, slightly angry. Millie's navigational skills, not great. Um, Caltaine, note taking, incredible. Wonderful note taking in your little
Incredible. In
so
my little
detailed.
book that's on me at all times, so detailed. All troops, all numbers, just eyes
Yeah.
everywhere.
Incredible. So good. So my provost. Then
Hashtag unfortunately my provost.
um, various different shenanigans, military maneuvers, everything. It's jam packed. Lots is going on. Oh, and by the way, we stabbed and potentially, partially, maybe minorly tortured a messenger of the King of Sidaris. And I'm sure there'll be no consequences.
None.
None. None. Absolutely not.
None whatsoever.
So Saturday, Mary.
Saturday begins bright and early.
Yeah.
Um,
I really like the little quiet moments before time in on a Saturday and a Sunday as well, although on the Sunday I tend to be a lot more tired because I went and had a wonderful shower and then I had a lovely cup of coffee. I think I had two actually because I had a coffee from my friend Chris and then I also had a coffee from Ellie and I also got some caffeine juice from Chris as well. So I was wired by time in.
you were just absolutely on one.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So what happened with you on time in on
I
Saturday?
oh god, time in. I have a quick natter with Sarisa, played by the wonderful drummer, who's one of our Nilfgaardian defectors. She's a mage. She's fantastic. And she had done some scrying for me the day before on. She scryed for me. Basically, I had found out on the Friday that my baby brother Nicholas had become some kind of a war hero, but he'd only joined the army really in Caltaine's place when she deserted. And so she's feeling a lot of guilt, and she was like, "Right, let's scry on him. Let's see where he is." And Sarisa had a vision of him in like fighting like tooth and nail through the corridors and like stairways of a castle, like a keep. And he was like properly going for it, like there's blood everywhere, there's fire outside, but like they're holding strong. And we know that there is a keep in the north that our allies are defending called in a place called Kaelf. And so we put two and two together and we're like, oh my gosh, our allies in the north are like in part like Caltaine's brother, and we're like, oh, fantastic, okay. And like she's actually kind of on a bit. She's like, oh my god, he's alive, because like the last communication with all these stories from the messenger was about 3 months out of date.
Yeah.
So Caltaine was like, he's going to be dead, but he was there, he's fighting, and she's like, okay, well, I've got to get a letter to, like, I've got to tell him, like, I'm sorry this happened, but like, and like, this shouldn't be happening, but like, okay, if we hopefully we'll meet basically on some kind of field of battle at this point, because like you're here, there's nothing I can do to stop it, but I'm sorry, but like I'm proud, I guess, that you've like become such a hero sort of thing. So I'm like, right, mentally, like, right, we're gonna write a letter, try and get it to him, because she's freaking out, but at least he's alive.
Yeah.
And then we got like 5 minutes piece, and the guys went out foraging, like the foraging squad that go out.
I did a little foraging squad. It was so wholesome. It was so
They're
lovely.
they're so good.
Yeah. And they're such a nice little non-com
However,
way to get people into the missions, aren't they? Because it's like it's Who is Jordan's character? Do you know the name?
Go me.
Go Me.
Go
Oh
me.
my God. Go Me and Tulip have,
Fantastic. The alchemy go to, yeah.
yeah, they have the cutest little like friendship relationship. It's so cute. And I go out
It's
on the,
very sweet.
I've never done the foraging before. Um,
Have you not?
no, so, but I have, there was a new player that had never gone foraging before. So I was like, oh, I'll go with you. It'll be fine because I'm also a herbalist. And the foraging
Mm.
mechanics in Northern Kingdoms is amazing because the crew think about where the herbs and the ores and the like monster parts don't really play with foraging, obviously, but like they think about where it's going to go. So you will only find
Mm.
ores in like rock outcroppings or on top of a
Mm.
really big boulder. And you'll only find
Yeah.
herbs in places where herbs grow. And it's so clever. But yeah, so I went off on a herb finding mission and Gomi, I always know when Jordan's up to something. When Gomi suggests that we split up. Um, because we did have quite a large group. And so I was like, it's fine. I'm an experienced forager. I'll go off with Lydia, Dr. Lydia, who's Georgia, and
Mm-hmm.
Wilhelm, the really cool mage. And and I'll just have a lovely time with these guys, and we'll do some foraging and have a lovely time. And then I didn't know
Who was
about
in the other
any of this
party?
bit. I didn't know about any of this. I missed this.
You're not.
So you tell us all about it.
So we've known for a while, like a few characters I see, were sort of given a heads up that Tulip, also from Sedaris, played by the wonderful Quinn,
Love them.
was basically had bounty hunters sent by her father. And like we were wondering if it was going to kick off last event, and we managed to get away with it. And then when we were going back to Sedaris, we were like, ah, crap.
Yeah.
And in game as well, Gareth, who plays Declan's fantastic. He's like not a half witcher, more than like a
I
2/3
love
witcher.
him so much.
In training, it's fantastic. And Tulip and Declan are a couple in game, and they're engaged, and it's they're planning on getting married. It's great. Tulip goes out foraging, as she always does, and Gomi and a couple of other people run back into camp and are like, Caltaine, Tulip's been taken. And I was like, oh, we were like having like a morning, like everyone was like so relaxed because it's like the first thing you do in the morning is like go foraging. So like, no one really like, people don't even have armor on yet.
Nope.
And immediately grab my halberd, like yell at people, like I go get Wanda, like we get the I have to tell Declan, like everyone is ready to go, like the whole camp, like we're like, right, okay, we get a squad together and we're like, we're gonna go get our girl back. No one does this. And yeah, so we have to go rescue Tulip.
Yeah.
And this was one of my favourite bits of the weekend, actually, because it was really cool, because I think it could have gone either way. And we find her basically in like her dad's like rose garden with like, he's got a mercenary company.
So cool.
Her dad's played by the ever fabulous Tom. It was great. And we decide basically, I was like, right, I'm going to try diplomacy. So everyone just like, hold fire, I beg you. Like, we're all mouthy, myself included, but this is her life at risk. Let's just try. So we entered into a debate with him, and it was really cool with her dad. And like, we've got so many like crossbows aimed at us. And like, I try and convince him. Sophie plays Cordinia, like says some words, like Tulip's also, I think there's like 5 of us from Sedaris. We're quite like a small nation in terms of players.
I love Sophie's character
but like
as
we were all
well.
very, Cordinia's fantastic with all the crab. Like she has a unit, and I think they're called like the crab. Like they've got a crab related. They're fantastic. Yeah, she's really convincing. And then Javaris, one of the Bear Witches, played by Dean, like says a few words. And finally, like, and calmly, I'm like, please be please be cool.
Yeah.
Like Declan speaks up, and it was it must have been about like 15 minutes of like debate and back and forth, and like to everyone's credit, like no one like pulled the trigger, or like we all just really tried, and
Mm.
somehow we managed to negotiate her release basically. um and I think that the deal was that Tulip now has a like a military unit because her father sent some guards with her,
Yeah.
and the deal is that she has to go back basically once the war's over. But obviously, we'll see. We'll
My
see.
gosh.
But yeah, it was really, really, really cool. And then we were like, let's plan a wedding. Let's plan, more importantly, the stag and hen do's.
Yeah. I love that because I came back from the I came back from gathering to see nobody in camp. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And I guess now it all makes sense. You guys were all off gathering tulips and like
That,
getting them
yeah.
back. Um,
Oh, so
it
funny.
was, oh my God, I love it so much. Um, and from, and then Tulip comes up to Mal and is like, Mal, you like gathering herbs and you're pretty sound. Do you want to be one of my bridesmaids? And I was like, yes,
Hell yeah.
yes, I do. Because
Fantastic.
as I've said before, Mal has this really strong connection to family and people, and the Free Company are her people, and she loves them. So she was like, yes, yes, 1,000 times, yes. I don't know what a hen party is, I don't know what a marriage is, but sure, absolutely, let's go, let's have it, let's do it. Um, so yeah, that happened, but it was a wee while until the hen party, wasn't it? Because we did the
Yes, we
windmill.
had we had the bridge fight and the windmill
Yeah.
first.
So the windmill and the bridge
Um,
were two encounters that were decided at the military unit like planning evening the night before, weren't they?
yes.
So it was
Yeah, so the windmill was to, yeah, stop the to let us know if they'd seen the skeletons, I
yeah.
think.
And
And then the bridge was like, basically there were two routes into where we want to fight, and we want to blow up one of the bridges to force them one way.
yeah, which was really important for Caltaine, wasn't it? For reasons we'll get into later, I think.
Yeah, well, it's one of them. It was important to her. One, it was important to everyone because it was like, okay, if sick, that means we can get them all where we want them to
Yeah.
be. But Caltaine's personal stake was that if her brother was at this castle, if they didn't blow up this certain bridge, it meant that her brother's team
Right.
was going to be intercepted
Yeah.
by Nilfgaard, basically. So she was like,
Ah.
we need to get the bridge.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
They needed to get it anyway, but she had like that extra thing in her brain of
Yeah.
like, my baby brother is going to get killed by Nilfgaard.
Yeah. Because this was the first sort of combat encounter that I was going on for the weekend, so I was having a lovely time, and it's one of my favorite things whenever like players are queuing up for the portal, because you have all of the mages, and it's I love this bit because you have all the mages and they're all getting ready, they're doing their wibbly wobbly army stuff to open a portal, and then you have Simon with his smoke grenades, and the smoke grenade goes off, and I'm like, I'm very excited for this. I'm near the front of the queue. I'm gonna sprint through first. So smoke
So
grenade goes off,
funny.
portal goes off. Mal has no idea where she's going. She's not wearing any armor. She hasn't got any weapons on her. She's only got a needle and thread and a couple of daggers. So naturally, the excellent kind of person to go through a portal first. But so Mal jumps through the portal first with Aiden, Aiden's character, and there's such a funny photo from Ben Smith of me basically like barging Aiden out the way, and it's so good.
Fantastic.
And what ensues is a really nice little bit of combat. It's a really beautiful sight as well, like very woody, like really nice. There's some archers there. I didn't realize how few crew there were this weekend. I think it
Yeah,
was.
there was.
I think there was like 25. I think.
Damn.
Um,
It's admirable.
which, when you have such a high combat system like Northern Kingdoms, the fact that I had no idea that there were that few is really
That is
testament
mad,
to the
actually.
crew. Yeah.
We
Like,
had quite a few new crew as well, like including
yeah,
I know one of the was it Matt who worked at the centre was fantastic
yeah,
for this is their first like
ever,
crew experience. They were
yeah,
great.
yeah. So phenomenal work from the crew, on all
They
aspects,
were
like
just
MP.
amazing.
Yeah, like the living NPCs from Niall doing Adam Pangrat to Tom being Tom's character's kind of like our captain of the free company, isn't it?
Yeah, like John Natalis.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I think Pangrat like pays us, but John Natalis like
uh,
employs us,
I
or so
see.
like from my
Yeah.
like he's been our sort of
But
gives us the orders.
either way, the crew, incredible, impeccable. Mwah.
Incredible.
Yeah. So we get to where the windmill is. Um, Lovely bit of fighting occurs. Nice little bit of combat. A healthy amount of arrow shafts in people's legs, arms, chest cavities.
The perfect
All
amount.
exactly, all in a day's work for the free company. Um, Having a lovely time. We clear the windmill. We clear them out of Nilfgaard. And there's a nice little pile of bodies over there by a tree. So naturally, Mal squirrels her way over, having a lovely time. Definitely not pickpocketing or looting anything from the corpses. Doesn't find anything anyway, so it doesn't really matter what she's doing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Provost. Nothing to worry about. Until I
Is
hear,
this when I asked?
oh yeah, until when I hear,
Yeah.
we should really take one of those corpses back to camp with us. And I was like, excuse you? What is going on here? And I see you and Freya's character. Please, pray tell me,
Gwynna.
talk me through what was going on.
Yeah. So I just thought it would be fun.
Sure. Why
Just
did you
thought
think it would be
I was
fun,
like,
Kelsey?
you know what? We've not done a bit of necromancy in a while.
Oh, right. Yeah,
And
sure.
I thought we're in the height of like the eve of battle.
Hmm.
Let's have a dabble.
Yeah, why not?
And Gwynna happens to be quite good at necromancy.
Oh my God.
Now I got I got cornered by Matteo, Dane's character, like Dane's Witcher. Basically, like, you know, you've got to do what you've got to do, but like chips away at a person's soul. It'll taint the earth. It'll, and I was like, and like I was like, damn, this maybe isn't a good idea. But OC, I was like, nah, I want to play with the necromancy.
My God.
um, so yeah, that's how we ended up with a body.
So good.
um,
Because I'd sort of gone, I'd heard that and I was like, what in the hell? But I saw Archie, who, phenomenal
God
crew member.
bless.
We love him, was playing the jester
Crew of
who
the event.
yep, crew of the event, exactly. And also played the jester, which we talked about last episode. And and I see him lying on the floor, and we just go to the crew. Anybody want to play a dead body and be in the camp for a little bit? And everybody points at Archie, and Archie points at himself. So I go,
Fantastic.
excellent, wonderful. We unceremoniously pick him up, and then go to where the portal is, and I go, and nobody wants to fizz rep carrying a body back.
Nah,
No,
that's
no.
look, we've done it enough times that everyone's like,
So
come
yeah,
on, guys.
so I just go to Archie. We're going to throw you through this portal so that you can walk back. So throw him through, have a lovely time, and then have a really nice walk back through the ant nests.
Oh my god, these ants
Yeah,
were monstrous.
they
Like the
were
size of like
huge.
my thumbnail.
Yeah,
They were huge, and there were so many of like the ant nest looked like
yeah,
just a moving piece of earth. It was
yeah,
horrendous.
yeah.
Cool,
Um,
sick, but awful.
Incredible. Yeah, forces of nature. I felt like I was in Indiana Jones and Temple of the Crystal Skull. Yeah,
It
exactly
was
that.
very that.
And I was Kate Blanchett. I'm never going to be Kate Blanchett, but work with me here, imagination. But beside the point, we all return to camp. Um, we portal back on a gravel path, and I go to Archie. For the love of God, do not fall flat on your face
Yeah.
when you're going back through the portal. So, so we get in. Archie does this incredible stage fall. Um, We now have the corpse of a dead Nilfgaardian in the camp of the Free Company.
Hooray!
Huzzah! Um,
We did it. Evil is defeated.
yeah. Were you there when we did the little interrogation?
Yes, yes.
Nice.
And Archie was insane because it took us a while because we had to go for lunch first, basically, didn't we? We're like, right, Archie, go get
Yeah,
lunch because this is your. It was so hot on the
it was
Saturday. There was like
hot.
no, oh,
Yeah.
the whole weekend was lovely, but it was very warm. We were like, this is
Yeah.
you're gonna get burned. Go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to see Freya / Gwynna use her powers, which was fantastically creepy.
So
And
good.
Archie did such a. She can get like she can basically get one answer that isn't a yes or no.
Mm.
I think is her thing, and like her casting the spell was fantastic, and like Archie just was like flailing around like it was incredible. Like Simon's there like on the side
Oh my
like
God, it was
telling him
so
what he
good.
knows.
My favorite thing
So good, such
was
good fun.
Archie accidentally said no when I think he should have said yes or vice versa. And you just hear him and he's saying it as if the words are being forced out of dead lungs, as
Yeah,
if like as if Gwyn is like actually manipulating the lungs around it, and it sounds so good. And he says it
it
with
was
so
so
much
cool.
conviction, and then Simon just goes, no, and then he goes, huh? Oh, and you're just like,
It was
yes, I
so
love
good.
it so much.
Like
Um,
LARP.
yeah,
It was
I honestly,
fantastic.
I love those moments so much. Like you can have so many people that say, "Meh, my immersion," but I love it. It makes me so
So no, it's
happy.
fun. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great. Why would I not love that?
Oh my God, honestly, so good. And then that's pretty much all that I had until we go to the bridge. Because it was a very short
Yeah,
period of time,
honestly,
wasn't it?
it was very back to back. We had a really cool bit. This was like a little side quest, where we had Tom came in as a, I can't remember what his character's name was, um, and brought us like a dead body, basically another one. Um,
Oh,
and this was there was a few of us. It was me and some of the mages. And again, I wrote lots of detailed notes in my little book.
oh,
Um,
it's so good that you're so
of
diligent with all of your
I
note taking and
once
Provost.
because this was a spy, so I wrote down all the things that the spy knows that we know
Oh my God,
in my little book. That's so safe with me. Um,
honestly.
uh, and we basically like got to like he had some items on him, and for each item we could like cast a spell, and like the creative were fantastic. I know Chris. This is Chris Payne. Because we've got several Chris's,
Yeah, so
um,
many.
and they were fantastic with and we had a new member of crew who I'm so sorry I forgot your name, but you're fantastic. Um, no, two new members of crew actually. Yeah, they were absolutely brilliant.
There was Obi
And
as
like they
well.
played out. Yeah, I think that might have been it was Obi, Chris, and I can't remember.
But
You,
either
you,
way,
you had
wonderful crew
long red
members.
hair and you're fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
And you were doing like little scenes for each item that we like found on the body.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Um, and
Oh
like we got to like piece it
yeah, I remember
together.
seeing
Yeah, yeah,
this.
yeah. It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And it was like some of them were just like not irrelevant, but like little fillery bits, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
And then the rest was like really plot pertinent, like names and like sort of locations and people he worked for. Yeah, it was really, really cool. Really,
All that you
it was a
recorded
really
in your
nice
really
like
nice notebook.
all that I recorded in my really nice notebook.
Yeah.
We got paid quite handsomely for it. It was great. And yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
And it was just a really nice like fun bit of plot that wasn't not that the plot's always
No,
fighting,
no.
but like I don't think I've had something
It's like
like that was just kind of like general plot,
yeah.
like
And it's
it was just
like
really
world
cool.
builder plot, right? Where it's not pertinent to the
Yeah,
main storyline of the weekend, but you end up having
yeah, it wasn't
just
exactly.
something. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
And it wasn't like character specific. It was like anyone could have stumbled upon it, and it was me and a group of mages, and it was really fun because I don't often
Yeah.
actually get to play with the mages because I'm, as a source, I'm a really weird like blend of man at arms and
Yeah.
sorceress sort of vibe. So like, I don't deal with any of the lodge stuff, which is great for me because I think I'd go insane because
Yeah.
it's a lot of politics. Whereas like Paige like thrives in that.
Mm.
Um,
I got
and
to
like I'd say I'm like 70 man at arms,
yeah.
80 man at arms.
Yeah. I got to eavesdrop on a lot of the mage meetings, admittedly, purely because Mal invited herself to the meetings. But
Fantastic.
I always make a point of like OC just if I'm not actually supposed to be there as a character, I will just
Yeah.
stay quiet. And like I'll do little Malerisms, which is what I call them, where I like raise my hand to ask really
Mannerisms.
stupid questions. And then
Were you
I,
going to ask Philip Ralhart how many cheese curds she can fit in her
hey,
mouth?
hey, Philippa Eilhart, like she's incredible. I got to watch her again this event. Oh, I love her so much. Um, but also as well, like I started asking really, like actually like very important questions at the table because I feel like with the
Ooh.
mages, they always forget that they're mages and that a lot of what they're going to do affects non-magical beings.
Mm.
So they were talking about starting up a college or a school in their
Yes.
meetings. And Philippa Eilhart was going to be, is it Eilhart? Einhart? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ralhart.
Yeah. So Philippa Eilhart was there, played by Claire. They were having an amazing time. Such a good character actor. And they were talking about this school, and Philippa was like, "Oh, well, of course, I'll be the headmistress because I am myself. Like I am Philippa. You cannot have a school without." And Wanda was just there, and you could see Paige being like, "Oh, Wanda's ego's taking a hit right now." Like, and just watching that interaction between mages, who have such a great ego because they are such powerful people, like terrifyingly powerful. Um, and then Mal was literally talking about something. I can't even remember the question I asked, but it was something inherently human. Like it was something about like I don't even know, like student welfare or something. I don't know. And um, Wilhelm and Nick, so Johannes, his character, Dr. Portal, goes, "Oh no, we should actually have like a non-magical entity at the school because it's issues like this that get highlighted when people who don't have magic actually look at a situation." And I was like, "Oh, I'm actually helping things." It was really
That's
cool.
really cool.
Yeah, it was nice. And it meant that I got to listen in on some really cool like mage plot that was going on. Um, but and then I can't remember if that was before or after, but the bridge.
The
The
bridge.
bridge.
Oh my god. That fight. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
It
It
was
was
a big boy.
so fun. We
It was our
had
main
that
thing,
was
wasn't it?
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone piled in. I love when everyone goes out together. It's
Yeah.
such a squad.
Yeah.
And yeah, a bunch of us were like, right, protect the engineer. We had an engineer,
Hmm.
NPC, again, played by Chris Payne, fantastic.
Yeah.
He played some amazing roles through the. I'm biased for one of them, but like he was
Yeah. He's an incredible RPA.
genuinely can't speak, fantastic.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we had the engineer and one of the Dubois.
Yeah. You always know that it's a key mission when the Dubois get their bombs. And this was a
Yep,
bomb
it was so
mission.
good.
Yeah. It was good.
I got given a poison bomb
Whoa
by
now.
Gomi, which was fantastic. I was thrilled, and I have to say it was the most noble thing I've done in my entire life. Because in the fight, and like I'll skirt past it now because it's really not that big in the grand scheme, but I knew I was not in the best position to throw this poison bomb, so I passed it to Declan, and I let Declan throw the poison bomb, and I'm really sad. But next time
Yeah.
I'll get to use the pyro. I just don't get to use pyro. I'm not a pyro character.
I love smoke bombs because you can hold on to them
Mm-hmm.
and you can manipulate the smoke. I hate flashbangs.
I flashbangs, yeah. They freaked
Yeah.
me out a bit. The only time I've used them was May, who plays Merlot, at our first event, when we did this source ritual, like detonated a bunch for us and it was sick.
Yeah.
Um,
It was
but
good.
again, that still wasn't me. I like this was a green smoke bomb, which meant poison, and I was like, I am in the worst position because I was guarding the engineer, so I was actually on the bridge.
Yeah.
Um, and there was maybe like 6, 8 of us who had like, I'd basically gone, right, we do not leave this perimeter.
Yeah.
We protect this guy who was
Yeah.
doing this. Like they were using I
Oh
don't know
my
what it's
god.
actually called, but you know
Those
the
little ring
ring
stackers.
toy
Yeah.
where you have to like put, you're not allowed to move more than one at once and you have to put them in size order. That was our fuse setter basically. And like
Yeah.
Nico was there, and like Richie was fantastic with like helping them like basically get hints and like, so
Yeah.
Simon would come and like move a few around and like give them like speed it
So
up.
good.
Um
I
and
loved
yeah,
this
we had to set
battle.
it. Oh,
So
it was
good.
great. It was
It was,
great.
it
What
was
was on
also
your end? Because I was on the bridge
you're on the
like the
bridge.
whole time.
So when we say bridge, dear listener, I know, I know that you are really thinking about a grand structure that involves crossing of a body of water, mayhaps, nay, a trickling, babbling brook. This was not that. This was about a half-meter wide by a half-meter long little thing, and it was adorable, and we loved it.
Bit of
Um,
concrete.
it was so
And
funny.
we ended up like, ah, yes, the Nilfgaardians, they cannot jump more than half a meter.
It was
It
really
was
good.
so good.
But again, like this site was so good for battle because they had so many like branching paths. So you cross
Yeah.
so we knew that we were portaling in at an advantage because we could set up the perimeter ahead of the bridge, I believe. And then the Nilfgaardians were going to come to us, which was which was great because it meant that we could set
Mm.
up a strong front line and have a lovely time. Um, it was a bit of a bottleneck, I will not lie. So once the combat started, it very quickly got very chaotic. Which is
There was a
again,
lot going on.
there was a lot going on. It was very safe. The refs were brilliant. Um, it was just constant because there was an uphill section, so brilliant for the Nilfgaardian archers. Um, James and their bloody longbow, and there was a couple of crossbows. I saw Dan Tuck with a he got me in the leg. Dan Tuck got me in the leg, the
I
bastard.
I got shot so many times by
Yeah,
Abigail and Faiz in that fight. I was just
honestly.
like, this isn't. No, no, I didn't get shot by Abigail in this fight. She was a mage, which was even worse.
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
was summoning like lightning down, and there were like flashbangs.
yeah. Honestly, the mage game is so good, especially when you're fighting against one.
So good.
I got to experience in a very fun way on Sunday, which we'll talk about. But
Hmm.
either way, the battle was amazing. We're fighting off the Nilfgaardians. I'm medicing when I can. I can't remember what I had, but I was with the nun. I was with
Hmm.
Jess, and Jess was in
Oh.
juggernaut mode. And if I'll
Hmm.
post a photo with this episode of Jess in her full armor, because it
So
is
cool.
hands down, and I hate to say it, but the sexiest thing I've ever seen. Um, because I, and also as of recording, I've just come back from the World Championships for jousting at Leeds Castle down in Kent. So I have seen people in incredible armor today, and I
Hmm.
just get, I just it just people in armor and people in full plate
Full plate is
with a
sick.
two-handed Zweihander and and a shield, and Jess was fighting with a shield and a longsword, I believe. I could be wrong. I was
Hmm.
maybe just in awe. And Jess just goes, "You stick with me, Mel. Like you can make sure that I don't go down, and you can hide behind me, and you can throw stuff because I can't remember what I had, but I had I had I think I had a poison bomb. I'm not really too sure. I had something
Nice.
that I had to throw. I don't know. I was too infatuated with shiny armor. So so this is
This is what I
happening.
mean by like this was your favorite battle, was like you
Honestly,
just got to like admire armor.
honestly, so happy. And instantly Jess gets dug in because Jess is an incredible fighter and the nuns just vanish. And I'm just there like, well, I'm on the front lines. The nuns over there, about 10 Nilfgaardians deep. I'm not going to be able to get through there. I haven't even got any armor or weapons. I've turned up with nothing again. So so I'm just having a nice time. Um, and I see um so I retreat a little bit, and then there's a nice little cut through. So I see a flank of Nilfgaardians that haven't really seen me, including Dan Tuck. So I go, God, I'm gonna get revenge for him slicing me in the leg. So I start running forward to kind of cut off these Nilfgaardians and slash them in the back.
Mm.
They then see me, and I get shot in the leg again with more arrows. So
Fuck's sake.
there goes my tactical advantage. So there I am, just like trying to patch everybody up, then getting patched up myself. Um, and then we hear the bomb is about to go off. You have 2 minutes. I think that's what it was. It was 2 minutes, right?
Yeah. So they managed zoom back to the bridge. They
Yeah.
managed to do it. At one point, the engineer was basically like, "We're not going to do it. I'll set it manually." And we were like, "Oh, damn." So basically, the plan was that, and then like basically last minute they managed to do it, and we were like, okay, go."
Oh.
So everyone starts like going for the retreat after this call.
Hmm.
Um, and what happens though was like everyone, starts heading off through the portal. And someone yells at me like, Cal, like get through the portal. But as soon as everyone was gone, the Nilfgaardians surged forward because we left the toy that was there for our fuse. And everyone was like, we can disarm it. And I was like, like I was like, one, literally over my dead body, like we've just worked our asses off to like get this thing working. Two, I'm like deep in the IC thing of like my baby brother, like forget the country and the whole war, like if we don't stop this bridge, my baby brother's gonna die. And so I'm like there with my helmet on this bridge with like this swarm of Nilfgaardians coming at me. I'm like, ah! And then Abigail's there with doing like mage, like summoning things, and I'm like in pain, I'm falling, and I'm literally like, oh god, this might have been a silly idea.
Yeah.
And then last second, the bomb goes off, and like I like run to the portal. And we managed to do it. And I was like, oh,
Nice.
oh my god. I felt sick as hell, but I was like, oh, that was closer than I'd have liked.
It was a good battle. And I remember because it was me and you, we were heading up the final lot to have gone through the portal.
Yeah.
And I remember going, have you seen the nun? So, you know how, dear listener, we spent a lot of Friday rescuing the nuns, and most of our downtime was spent rescuing the nuns. First battle where the nuns go out, we, as the Free Company, forget the nuns again. And I felt awful.
I think they were so far behind
They
enemy
honestly
lines as well. I just didn't. Oh, God, I'm so sad that we've lost Sister Titan, Sister Tranquility. They were so cool.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they just come back as like more battle nuns.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'd forgotten the nuns again, so that's great. They'd been kidnapped again or left behind in Nilfgaardian territory again.
Again.
So there we are, having a lovely time. And we get back to camp after the bridge has been destroyed, and I think this is kind of just when you have downtime, obviously, because this is just when lunch and stuff is all going off. Everybody's kind of having a bit of a break, and this is when I think Tulip's bachelorette party is.
Yes. So I was in charge of organising the hen do.
Uh-huh.
It's also worth. I've realised the nuns came back from that battle.
They did, yeah, they did.
And we were like, interesting, and we'll put a pin in that because that comes back later. That's a fun story for later.
Yeah,
and we were like,
I think.
we thought, But yes, this is when I'd been given the task of coming up with a hen do,
I
and
was so
Tulip was like,
excited.
I'd be quite happy foraging. And I went over to go, I was like, hey, can we have a foraging hen do? And he was like, give me 20 minutes. And when I say that this is what I pay for my LARP weekend,
Uh-huh.
this is what I pay for.
Oh yeah.
This is the kind of immersion. Never mind, what the rest of my... No, this is what...
Honestly.
So a group of us gather up. I'm trying to think who it was. I don't want to miss anyone.
It was all the
It was
herbalists,
you, me,
ideally.
Paige, Wanda, Dr. Lydia, Tulip. I've forgotten from the Dubois camp, the new player.
Eve, who was
Eve,
Yarrow,
fantastic.
I think.
Yarrow. And we brought, just in case anyone was a bit nervous about us doing things. Oh, so was Cordelia there?
No, I think there was somebody who was away either in the loo or at another encounter. So there was someone that was
Fair. And Javaris came
yeah.
as our bodyguard. Good sport.
Oh my god. Oh no, wait.
So
I
we
reckon
went.
Soph went picking, wasn't
No,
it?
I
can't
think
remember.
Sophie did.
Yeah, Soph did go. Yes, you're right.
I've
you're
just
right.
because I just look at the photos. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
Soph was there too. Nice.
we went on a foraging hen do.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was so
Um,
good.
I don't even know where to start. Like, it sure was
Well,
foraging, and we
well,
were
of course.
walking through the woods.
Yeah, it started exactly like any foraging
How it
encounter would.
should.
There was some
It was
some
fantastic.
herbs on the floor. It was
There was some.
lovely.
We all took a little turn and
Yeah,
finding them. It was great. We were seeing
yeah,
like one of the girls to Javaris. It's
exactly.
great. And then we turn a bend where there are a couple of trees, and sideways, popping out of one of the trees,
Oh my god, yeah.
is Jester.
Yep.
And just says, I hear there's someone who
Oh
deserves some
god.
celebrating. And we
Honestly.
absolutely lose it. We are all on the
I
floor. There's a photo of me and Paige crying.
yeah.
Um,
It was amazing because I knew that Caltaine had I didn't know about the whole Caltaine meeting Jester and swearing off mimes for the free company. So I was like, oh, Caltaine's about to stab
like,
Jester. Yeah.
it's
So I
like,
was like,
no, we're cool.
yeah. And and so oh my god, it was just so good. It was like one of those, those really cheesy DJs at school discos where
Oh my god, yes.
they do those really cheesy like shout outs to the crowd, like let me hear you when I say there's a
Yeah.
birthday girl in the party,
It's
and
so good.
that's the kind of vibes that we had, and it was immaculate. Um,
We were all so giddy.
yeah, it was so
Um,
good.
and as we were walking, he was telling us the myth of like the man of the woods, and like herbs grow off him and can only be removed. He drops herbs and you can tell where he was like sitting and stuff,
Oh my
but
god.
he grows herbs that can only be removed by your teeth. And we were like, huh? And then we keep walking for a little bit and we enter a clearing and
God.
there is a mime
There
played
is a
by,
mime.
again, a wonderfully good sport of a new crew member.
Honestly, I felt
And
so
just
sorry.
all over his kit is this, like, are these the lollipop sticks we use for like the fizz reps of herbs,
Yep.
and we're in pieces, and we're basically told that the only way we can get this is to take them off with our teeth, and
Yep.
so everyone takes a turn.
Honestly.
I couldn't bring myself to as Caltaine,
No.
nor as me, so I let
Yeah.
Tulip have two goes, but
Honestly.
it was Dean doing that
And-
got me because
and-
it was so funny.
It's also there was it Mal hadn't had a chance to pull any herbs out of the mime until the mime goes does the whole signal for there's one more, and Jester goes, now ladies, you're forgetting the prime spot for all herb growing. And the mime turns around, and dear listener,
Oh god.
there was a herb sticking out of the mime's trousers.
So good.
And suddenly,
Oh,
Mal wasn't so confident about her herb picking ability.
oh
But
God.
but boy did
So,
she give it a go.
so good.
Yeah, so I have pulled
Honestly.
herbs out of a mime's ass crack, and I was rewarded with a fake coin for such actions.
Were you?
Yeah.
That's
I
fantastic.
I was like, there's honestly such a good sequence of photos of me doing that because you see the Garnier girl like hair flip when I've got the herb as well. Oh, such good. Like
Brilliant.
hats off to the guys for organizing that on the on the spur of the moment
20
in about
minutes
20 minutes
and oh, it was
because
so good.
it
Honestly,
made our
just
weekend.
brilliant.
Yeah. And it's so nice when you have so much like emotional heavy RP going on to have those little light
God,
moments
yeah.
in between. Because I think we all just forgot
Very,
that
very
everything
much
was
so.
going on.
Yeah, honestly, it was such a nice little break. And then we like portaled back and we said basically we'd walk into camp and like have them like the herbs in our mouths and
Yeah.
like we'd portal in. We portaled right back into the middle of camp like giggling and everyone like ran over thinking we were like hurt and it was like no no and we were like just
Yeah.
oh it was so good.
And
It was
we'd
such
stuck a
fun.
herb in Jester's mouth, which was a mask mouth. So,
It was
it's
just
all
brilliant.
so good. Then nothing
They're like
really
you're
happened
friends
to
with
me.
Jester now and we're like Jester's one of the girls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so is Javaris, like that guy.
So is Travaris, one of the girls.
Yeah. I loved it so much. And then
Such good
nothing,
fun.
it was mainly sort of debriefs, briefs, war tables, and chatting until dusk time for me. Um,
And then it all went wrong from that was the
hey
last bit
now,
of levity.
hey now.
Um, it
I
went pretty wrong, Millie.
I
It
would
went pretty
say,
wrong.
I would say, getting invited on a Witcher mission to go and hunt a Leshen is a good thing, right? Right?
See, you got invited. I volunteered because I was like, oh, see, I want to see a fucking
Oh yeah, no,
lesson.
no, no.
I
I think
see. Why not?
yeah,
Oh God, never again. You
yeah,
know what? I'm
no,
done.
yeah.
Curiosity has. I'm out.
Honestly,
I
it has.
I literally my notes for this. It
Yeah,
says Leshen. Fuck this.
yeah, yeah. So basically, what happened is the witches at Northern Kingdoms, their game is insane. It's so good. Their missions are pretty much
So
all
cool.
monster based. They get to do the high combat, high peril kind of missions, and it's so cool. But something that I never get to witness because I don't play a Witcher is the monsters, the monster encounters.
Mm.
So I hear there's basically the military maneuver that we are trying to do is there is a Leshen's territory which is dictated by the totem, which dictates to the Leshen how far it can go. It's basically like a circle of effect, effectively.
Like
So
a
if
little
you've got the
beacon,
totem,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So the Free Company wants to move the Leshen's totem into Nilfgaardian territory so that the Leshen fucks up the Nilfs.
Yeah.
That is the basic context of it. And what the witches wanted was the witches were going to go in to distract the Leshen. We as humans were going to go in to move the totem.
Mm-hmm.
So we go in. It's I think there's about 10 of us because
Yeah, there's
there's
not masses, which was part of the
no.
problem.
So there's Songbird and there's Gwynna who are our mages
Yep.
to keep us to portal us in and out basically. Um,
Yep.
then there's Kev who I met at Wome, and who is an Embercast and hangs out with Sophie, and that group. Phenomenal. His kit, chef's kit is so good. And there's a few other guys as well. Very strong team, very exciting.
Mm.
Portal in. Ooh. There's mood lighting and
Ugh.
everything. So good.
Yeah, it's green, and
Yeah.
immediately I walk in. This thing is 7 foot tall, and I'm
Yeah.
immediately like, "Oh
It's
shit!"
terrifying.
I think I'm out of my depth
Yeah.
here.
Yep,
Like
yep,
both
yep.
Icy and Osi was like, and also the bit we were walking through, there was a little clearing, which is where the lesson started, and the totem was there, but it was almost like a corridor of trees,
Yeah.
wasn't it? You could maybe fit like two and a half
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
like in a row.
Yeah.
And so the witches start engaging the Leshen. A couple of people grab the totem. What I don't know at this point is they've been told they can't run with it.
Yeah. We didn't get
They've
told
got
that we
to
couldn't run with the
walk with
totem
it.
either. Yeah. But it,
So I start like pelting behind, like run, and they're like can't, because then the
oh
Leshen
my God.
starts chasing all of us,
Yeah.
and being
And the
chased down that
Leshen's little
corridor.
moss creatures as well.
Little minions,
Oh
oh,
my God.
being chased down that corridor of trees by a
So
7-foot Leshen.
yeah.
Oh
So
my god, it was
it's
horrible.
terrifying.
In the
So
best way.
contextually, if anybody hasn't seen the Witcher games, a Leshen in The Witcher is kind of like an ancient wooded like creature.
They're like,
So
yeah, it's like a tree creature.
yeah. So think 7 foot tall ent, but with the skull of a deer and the antlers to match. So and the claws to gouge you open, effectively. So and they also have the power to sprout vines, to trap people and
Uh,
stop them from running. So
which
we
was a real feature of this fight.
honestly, so it wasn't even the Leshen and the moss creatures were slow, so we could outpace them very easily. The issue came when whenever you got touched by the Leshen, because then you got a trauma card that said you have vines and twigs growing out of the wound where it was touched by the Leshen. You cannot run, and you have to
It was
walk.
horrid.
And it's like, and it there's an element of fear, like it's that nightmare, isn't it, where you're being chased by something but you
Yeah,
can't run because you feel like you're running through water.
genuinely horrid.
That's what it was. And then but we were still fine because we had the totem and we had the witches fighting off the Leshen, and as you said, there was that corridor of trees, so we didn't need to worry about the moss creatures because they were in front of the witches. And
It
there
was
was
fine.
this, yeah, exactly. And there was this insanely cool moment where you had all of the witches lined up and they did a mass igni. And they all shouted it in unison and they all did hero poses and they all looked really
It was
impressive.
sick.
I was like, oh my God, I'm in love. I'm in love with all of them. Um, and I got to see Chris and their Witcher character who is, it's not, is it Fenog?
Fennec, yeah.
Yeah,
The cat witcher,
the
Fennec.
Cat Witcher. I got to watch them
They're
in combat for the
amazing.
first time. Oh my God. Like, so the Witchers bring so much cool vibes to, and it's like I was in awe. I wasn't really paying attention to the lesson because I was too busy melting in front of all of my really cool friends. Um,
The LARP
but
way.
yeah, exactly right. So we were doing really well. The totem was getting to where it needed to go. We were safe behind the wall of witches. And then Chris, trauma ref Gallon, calls time
There he
freeze.
comes.
And time freeze. So we all stop.
Uh huh.
And then the Leshen moves. And it's basically the power that the Leshen has is it can go into the ground and do that whole like underground moving, instantaneous teleportation kind of popping up. So where does
The
Chris put the
yeah.
Leshen, Mary?
Could it be right next to the portal we're trying to open
Yeah.
to get all of us out? So we're all in a massive pile.
Yeah.
All of the non-combat people for this because we're
Yeah.
not witches, and it just starts
Yeah.
swinging. The mages both immediately go down. I get vines in my legs. Someone's on the
Honestly.
floor. Like, we are getting butchered.
Yeah.
And the witches like finally like manage to like come and like re-engage, but like we have to get the mages back up. And this
Yeah.
fight goes on for like a little bit longer, and these like moss creatures are coming at us as well.
It's terrifying. And
Um,
and it as well because there was such that it was that bottleneck. I had a pile of mages. And then Fom was there, who's our really like I love like Joel as Fom. Mwah,
Joel's
chef's kiss.
fantastic.
So good. They're both down along with Dane, who's one of the other witches. And so they were down. The mages were down. So we had no way
Literally.
of getting home. So so I'm healing the mages. So I'm cutting
Yeah.
out the way that they get affected is with the vines crawling out of their legs. So the only way
Yeah.
to deal with that is to cut them out. So I'm
Yeah.
doing this really cool thing with Freya where I'm cutting it out with a knife and then I'm getting her to heat the knife with her blade with her magic so that I can then cauterize the wounds.
That's
And then I
sick.
do
That's really
it's
cool.
oh it was so fun and so good. So then I do that and then Songbird gets healed. So then they open the portal. And then I and then um were you there when the mages and everybody closed the portal and we got left behind?
So, from my point of view,
Yeah.
two people got through. I jumped through, and then Chris goes, "Your portal drops, by the way." And the mages, the portal ends. So three of us got through,
Yeah.
and the rest of you, and it was him and another ref, and I can't remember who it was, and they were like, "Better go get some backup pretty quickly." And we was like, it was me
Oh
and
my
these
God.
two other players pelting it up that hill, and we like sprint into camp as soon as we enter back into camp. I'd got my legs done by those vines and I had like a trauma card. So I get into camp and I fall and I'm like, need reinforcements now. Someone comes to start heal, like Wander, and someone comes, and I think it was Dr. Valis comes and starts like taking the thorns out of my legs because I'm getting all lesioned and it's all. And then a bunch of people go to like teleport down, like super, super quick smart. And then there's a bit of like a weird vibe in the camp.
Oh no.
And we're like, we hear noise by the camp that we shouldn't. Millie, I'm going to jump back to you.
Oh, so what happened from my perspective was it just went silent and it was myself and I can't remember who I was with. But it was another human. I didn't know where the witches were. I couldn't see the witches. And I thought, fudge, I've been left behind. Like, this is the end for Mal. This is it. I'm just going to die because the mages are gone and I can't see the witches and there are moss creatures. And to my understanding, this could have just been crew members being nice. The moss creatures were very much like the clickers in The Last of Us, where they activated if you made a sound. So
Oh, God.
I was like there just hiding behind a tree
Oh,
I think I can't remember who I was with. I'm so sorry. I was very tense. And I was panicking and I was like, what do we do? What do we do? I've never this is the first time I've ever gone on a mission like this. What do I do? And
yeah.
then and we start fighting the moss creatures and then the Leshens coming up on us and I was like, this is it. This is the end. Like Mal's dead, basically.
Yeah. Oh, my
And
God.
there's Fom and the other witches are down. Like there's the Fom and the Dane's character down as well, but just by where the portal was. And I was like, fuck, that's it. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try and rescue them. And I'm there, and I'm like there, and I'm like, okay, go fine, just medicate. Don't worry about the sound of the Leshen coming up on you, or don't worry about the moss creatures. It's all fine. It's all fine. And then Gwynna comes back, and the portal
Yeah, she
opens,
does.
and I was like,
Hell yeah.
I was like, I was like, it was like, I don't, there's no feeling like it. It's like God raised,
Pure
like
relief.
the heavenly hallelujahs were coming through, and I was just there,
It's like, oh, my God.
oh, honestly, and I was like, we've got to go. So I pick up Fom and I chuck Fom through the portal, and I pick up
Yeah.
the witch, and I was like, I don't know what I'm
Like
doing.
tossing
so
them through.
I literally, and I grab Dane, and I'm like, I'm going to drag you through the portal, and I go back, and I go through the portal, as well as the Leshen.
Yeah. So we're in camp.
Yeah.
And we're getting healed up. And suddenly we start to see a bit of a commotion and we're like,
Oh my God, honestly.
shit, okay. And everyone's like, you see nothing? And we're like, yeah, all right, we see nothing. Okay, we'll just keep going. And everyone comes in with their hands up.
Oh my God,
and we
honestly.
pretend we don't see anything. And we're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
This is so not good. And suddenly, the portal opens in the middle of camp. Everyone's
Honestly.
back, and so is the Leshen.
But
And
it was so
oh my
well
god.
done because they we were walking back and Chris and Simon were like, okay, so you jumped through first, so you're coming through in the first wave. Then it was Mal with the two downed people, and Mal also got hit quite badly by the Leshen just before she jumped through. So Chris just showered me in trauma cards, including a trauma card that
Yeah.
I'll talk about later. Um, and then the Leshen was coming through last. So we portaled in and I did the whole like, oh, it was so good. Like the cinematic crawl back because you're so scared of
Yeah.
something that's about to come through the door. I did that and just as the Leshen appeared and it
Oh,
was, oh, chef's kiss. So good.
that whole thing led to such good up. Like, massive shot. Like, Freya was just incredible. Like,
Yeah.
there were, so we got told afterwards that Freya had had two fake coins used on her,
Woof. Yeah.
had already bled out,
Yeah.
and they needed six of us working on her, and she
Yeah.
was 12 seconds away
Woof.
from permadeath
Yeah.
because the Leshen got her so bad,
But
and
this,
like her RP was just incredible. Like it was
yeah.
like she was just. She had like a parasite like
Oh,
crawling down.
yeah.
Like it was, oh my god, she was incredible. And we had like different mages doing things, and like I was there like trying to like just like remind her of home, and Pangrat was there, and like we were like putting pressure. Oh god,
It's
and like there's
honestly,
still fighting going on. Like it was
yeah.
wild.
It was amazing
Wanda
because,
got as soon as the Leshen came through.
yeah.
Oh,
It's insane because I had so the trauma cards that I had was I had the parasite and
uh,
I had the vines um but which was this was hilarious because Stoic healed me and was like, oh, I've healed you, and I was like, no, you haven't, and produced two more trauma cards, like this whole thing.
god.
And basically what I had was I had a, I think it was like a neural path to the Leshen. So
Oh,
I
what?
felt the pain of the Leshen every time it was hit in camp. So I was like a
No,
conduit for the
what?
Leshen's pain, which is why when I came through the portal, I was like screaming and crying and I was like writhing around on the floor and I was like OC, I was keeping an eye on the Leshen to make sure that I knew when it was
Yeah.
dead because I was
Oh,
like
that's
crying and like
sick.
I was like crying and like being like begging people to stop hurting the Leshen. And I was like,
Oh my
it was
god.
it was so good and so fun. And like Ruth was like, you're in your bleed out, aren't you? And I was like, yeah. So I had Ruth over me as
Yeah.
well. And like luckily Stoic was there because like that stopped the bleed out timer pretty much because like I say with the trauma cards, there are some where you have to have mages on you, especially when you've got a
Yeah.
catastrophic bleed, because you need the mage to magically slow the patient's heart rate.
Because otherwise, like
Yeah.
it doesn't affect bleed out.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have
Uh,
to have like rebis, you have to have vitriol, which are our two like healing reagents. And it's there's so much thought that goes into the medical stuff. It's so good. Um, but the Leshen camp attack, again, a phenomenal example of how the Northern Kingdom crew adapts and creates incredible moments out of completely spontaneous things.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely incredible.
yeah. And it also really shows how much the players have to think to adapt plans on the fly because our
Yeah,
whole point, if we killed the Leshen, we would have completely destroyed our plan of moving the Leshen totem and getting the Leshen territory to destroy the nilfs in that area,
I didn't even
rendering
think of that. Yeah, of course.
exactly like rendering any efforts that we had completely like stupid and sort of inconsequential. So the witches and the mages had to then portal the Leshen back to its original territory and get it home because otherwise it would have all gone Pete Tong, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh my
So
god.
honestly, so good.
Fantastic.
And the Freya medical RP, moi, chef's kiss. Just
Oh,
moi.
she was
So
fantastic.
good. And then what did we what happened next? relaxed after the we had a little bit
So
of
I
downtime for
think
meals and things, didn't we?
we had a little bit of downtime, and then honestly, one other thing happened for me on Saturday
Yeah.
night. Um,
We kind of had a big brief about the fact that this was about to happen, and so like I have a tiny thing before, but you like please like
no, you go for it.
because so we touched on this briefly about Mal not knowing who the king of Sidaris is. Um, so the we get a brief from I think it was Adam Pangrat, Niall's character, who's an NPC. And the Sidarans help do the briefing and be like, the king of Sidaris is coming to town. We have to treat him with respect. He is a king. Like this is very important for the free company. We need to do this. And
We need his alliance, basically.
yeah, and Tulip and Cordelia, so Sophie's character go, we have to bow. And I don't know, weird, I don't like this is like an OC thing as well. I don't understand where my brain went, but Mal took real issue with the fact that she had to bow. And it was like a thing of like, why would I bow to somebody I don't know? Like that's stupid. And Tulip was like, you bow, it's a king. And I was like, Kedwen, not my king. I'm Kedweni. Like, why would I bow? I don't understand. Like, I'll bow if I respect him, but it's a king. I don't know them. Why would I? And Declan, who is Kedweni, was like, Mel, I understand. I also don't. I've been just taught how to bow. I'm going to do it. I need you to do it too. And I was like, but the king's threatened my best friend. And the king is threatening my friend Caltaine right now, and their messenger called them a psychopathic bitch. I am not going to bow to him. And Declan pulled me aside and was like, I'm going to tell you something because I think that it might happen. And I think that I need you to know that it comes from a place of good intention. And so Declan goes, I'm the right hand of the provost. And the provost has ordered me to do something. Do you want to talk about it, or are you happy if I?
Yeah, you can. I'll touch back on it, but you can
Yeah.
absolutely.
So and so Declan's like, and she's ordered me to do something because you know what Caltaine can do and you know what she's like. And so I was like, no, you're about to. I know what you're about to say, Declan, and the anger starts bubbling up in Mal, and she's like, no. And Declan goes, I have been ordered by Caltaine to kill her if necessary. If she loses control, I have been told to kill her by herself. Like, this is what she wants. She understands the importance of this meeting. And I was just there like, oh no. And I was like tearing up because like
I didn't know Mal knew this.
so like I was just there, and this is why I came right over to you in the meeting, because I was going to stop this. I was going to stop Declan, and I was going to like this whole thing. And oh my god.
Oh my god.
So I found
So
out about that, and you on to you.
so basically, we gathered up all the Sidarans. There's, like I said, there's about 5 of us. We were like, right, we're gonna greet our king. I'd pre-warned them that, like, look, I've been asked to be here. Everyone knows by now I'm a deserter, like, because Wanda thwacked me in the back of the head with an axe. Like, in typical, everyone is always like, how are Caltaine and Wanda like best mates? Like, look, it's just you go to an all girls school, you just kind of get trauma bonded.
Yeah.
And so we're like, right, we're gonna bow, whatever. And yeah, Chris arrives as King of Thane, and oh my god, we'd set up Cordinia's camp as like a gathering area, and we thought it was nice because it was like the Sidaran kind of place. And we all sit down around the fire, and I'm sat opposite the king. and like all day. So, for context,
Mm-hmm.
hopping back to Jester, Carlton had sent a letter in the middle of the day via Jester to her brother,
Mm-hmm.
basically going, I think the price that I might have to pay for an alliance is me. And if that happens, I'm so sorry. I'm so proud of you. I wish you were never in
Oh
this situation.
man.
But I love you, and like tell our
Oh.
family that but I did all this knowing what could happen and I would do it again. So
Oh.
like please don't worry.
Yeah.
And I sent this letter via Jester, which was like a big bit of growth for Carlton. She doesn't trust him, but she's like, this is my one chance.
Yeah.
And he was like, I've delivered it. I was like, cool, amazing. And also just before like all this had kicked off, like earlier in the day, Pangrat had said to Wanda and Dermot's our quartermaster, played by Tom. Fantastic.
Oh, I love him so much.
He's so good. He's got us out of debt. And by that I mean
Yeah.
it was sort of also the bank heist that Vigo pulled that got us out of debt, but there was a lot of number crunching involved.
Honestly.
Finally. But he had spoken to those two and gone, I don't want Carlton to think that we don't trust her, but do you reckon she would be happy to wear, I never say it right, it's either Dimeritium or Dimeritium, the magical metal that stops magic.
Yeah.
Dimeritium. It's going to be Dimeritium for this. Would Carlton be happy to wear like Dimeritium for the meeting, just in case she goes batshit? And basically we figured out, after a bit of trial and error, the only Dimeritium we had were Prue, Ori's character. They played the bounty hunter, fantastic. And they had this set of Dimeritium shackles, and I was like, I'm not presenting myself like I've arrested myself. So what we figured out was if I just hold a bit of this metal, it does the same job. But
Yeah.
for someone with magical powers, it has nasty side effects. So like I am feeling unwell, I am grumpy, like it's like my magic is like burning under my skin kind of vibes, and I feel sick. It's just awful. And so Trauma Chris comes over to me and is like, by the way, for this meeting, the Dimeritium, by the way, like every time your power would trigger, you feel an intense pain, and this will only hold until you think your emotions would just overflow.
Yeah.
And like they would be unstoppable. And I was like, noted. Okay. Great. So, and I'd also gone to Declan earlier, because like Carlton and Declan have a really fun relationship. I enjoy it a lot. Where like they trained at Kaer Morhen together a bit in downtime a couple events ago, and like Gareth's just fantastic.
Yeah.
And they've got kind of like a sort of like sibling-y friendship. Like it's really nice. I like it. And she'd gone to him basically like, look, this alliance, we need his men, like this is too important, this is bigger than us. Yelling, fine, but if I go to attack the King of Sedaris, put me down. And he was like, okay.
Wow.
And I was like, oh.
That must have been like
agreed, it was
emotionally, that must have been a really like horrible situation.
It was, oh god. Well, I found out, oh god, I'll say what happened afterwards with Declan and Wanda, but I found out something after the fact that I wasn't there for, and I was in tears. It was great.
Oh no.
I love LARP. What a fun
I love
hobby
it,
we
honestly.
have. So we're all sat down around this fire, and the king begins to speak. And we're just chatting in general at first, and there's like, you know, that tension when there's something that needs to be brought up and no one's brought it up yet.
Oh god.
But at the beginning of the conversation, the king mentioned like a passing comment about how we needed to do XYZ because of our, even though we took the north, the losses were great. Immediately, I'm like, oh god, that's where my brother was.
Oh
And I'm
no.
like, so I start like reacting like I'm in pain, because usually that would have like just triggered my source power, like the idea that my brother could be in trouble. And I was like, okay, no, I'm going to keep it under control for this meeting. Like, and I was trying so hard. And then like a bunch of people like chip into the conversation. It's really interesting. It's like a really cool thing to be able to see the Sidarans like actually talk about like this is our turf. Like Sophie, like Cordelia, like she plays a noble, so she got to say, like, it was really cool to see like us actually being able to interact with like our king.
And it was her camp where the meeting was being held.
Yeah,
right?
it was her camp.
It was like, oh, so
it was
good.
Great, yeah. And like then King Athane just like looks at me
God.
dead across the campfire, because like we had the fire pit and it was incredible, and like there was tons of people stood up around and like sat. Oh God, it was just cinema in my head.
Yeah.
And just like, Caltaine, you served a contract to serve in my army, and yet you're here. Like, care to explain what exactly it is you've been doing with the Free Company now that you're provost? And we were just like sat there like, okay, there it is. And I was like, look, I would do it again. My loyalty to my country was never in question, but my loyalty to my friend, when I thought she could be dead or worse, like, I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, and if I get punished for that, then okay. But I've never once worked against my country. I'm sat here opposite you in our homeland fighting for it. I'm just doing it a different way.
Yeah.
And I apologise for deserting, but I've not stopped fighting for what is a common cause, sort of thing. And Pangrat gave like a really lovely sort of defense as well, like a testimonial.
Honestly, like watching Niall do
so lovely.
defense. I watched him do a similar situation for there's at Empire. We talked about it on our Empire episodes where they had a similar situation where generals had, I mean, it wasn't similar at all. Basically, mass killing, accidental, very bad, very awful. But Niall did a phenomenal defense plea using the virtue system at Empire, and he is insanely, like, the logic and the thinking and the thought process behind his arguments, so good.
It was so lovely. And it was just like a real defense of her character and like how she's worked tirelessly to, like, you know, be a good provost, and like has bled for the company and like continue to defend it. Wanda also gave like a wonderful sort of testimony, and the king like considered it for a minute and like walked over, and I was like, oh God, this is it. And was like, this may all be true, but I can't allow you to just keep running around doing what you're doing, basically. And he was like, kneel. And like gasps went round the circle.
Oh my like, God.
Okay. So I kneel down. I'm like, okay. And then the king knights me.
Blech. Gross.
And I was fuming because it was such a power move. Because basically he knighted her and was like, this means you're loyal to me now. Yeah. As well as like the country. You might be provost here, but you are a knight of Sidaris. And it was really, really fun because like a few people like started clapping, and then like it dispersed, and like the people who were like closer to Caltaine were like, no, because it was a punishment.
Oh boy.
And the king himself was like, this is like, you deserve a knighthood, like for like you've done a lot, but this is not an accolade. This is you're now like, this is a punishment basically. And I was like, oh God. It was amazing. And I got told after the fact that on the second like shoulder tap, there was like a meteor shower
Oh
behind
my
us.
God, I saw it.
Which was
It
like,
was so,
did you?
yeah.
Couldn't have asked
So
for that.
oh, it was so good. So there was a lot going on in Mal's life at that time. We'll talk about it later, but there's this whole thing, and I was like, so everything that was going on emotionally in Mal's head, and then she sees her friend get put on her knees, and then she hears the "you are sworn to Sidaris now." And so there's a lot going on, which we'll touch on, but this is insane. And you get literally, it goes sword tap, and then there's this bright light across the sky. And I'm stood there
Mad.
with Ali, with Lucky, and I can't remember who else. Sorry, it was very dark, and I was very emotional. And we were just there, like, what? And apparently, I was talking to Ruth later that night, and she'd seen it and radioed through, thinking that it was SFX from us.
Yeah. Someone thought it was a pyro.
Oh my God! But yeah, it was insane, and we were like, well,
It was
if that isn't
mad.
an omen, so yeah, you are
I felt honoured.
God honored for Caltaine of Sitaris.
Yeah,
Um,
Sir Caltaine.
oh
And
God,
Chris was just fantastic. Like he gave this whole like I shan't repeat the speech, but like gave this whole speech
yeah.
like during the knighthood of like and it was amazing. He did it was just I think the best thing that's ever happened to me at LARP. It was just magical, and then as she stood up, because obviously like I'm feeling like a ton of conflicting feelings I see because like again like this wasn't an honor,
Yeah.
this was like a slight, this was
Yeah.
like a full slight from like you're like you now report to me, like you can go gallivanting off as provost and desert and be on extended leave as long as you like, but like at the end of the day you're now a Knight of Sidaris, and it's like great, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she stands up and I look at him and I'm like, Your Majesty, I don't have the right to ask, but I need to ask.
Mm.
You said that there were casualties at Kaelf Castle. Do you have a list of the dead?
Oh.
And he just pauses and like softens a little bit, and describes the battle and how well it was fought and how hard it was fought and the fact that it was won, but at a cost to everyone there.
Oh man.
And that's the moment where I was like, okay, the metal would not work anymore. So I drop to the floor and I scream
Oh yeah.
because I'd also taken all my weapons off me just in case. So
Yeah.
like my power is wanting to attack people and I have nothing but like hands to do it with, so I'm like clawing at the dirt because like that one rational bit of my brain is left. And I'm like screaming, and I feel hands just like pulling me back, and I'm like trying to get away from the king because I'm like I don't want to attack him, and just everyone is immediately like I'm sobbing, everyone's immediately around me like dragging me out and trying to comfort me, and I like crawl back on my hands because I'm trying to like fight them still, and I'm like just like leave me, like stay away, and I'm like sobbing and I'm like it's my fault, like take it back, like get to like it can't be real, like this is my fault, he's gone, and Paige comes over also just in floods of tears,
Oh.
and just goes like, I'm gonna put you to sleep, okay? And she's like, please just do it, to make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. And she
Yeah.
like puts her out and I'm like on the ground. And everyone like moves me over to a tree and like Paige is crying and I'm unconscious and everyone's like, what happened? She's like, that her brother was there, like, and she's like describing him and
Oh
I'm in
yeah.
tears. And then she like wakes me up like slowly and I'm just like, everyone's like leave me like alone. And oh my god, it was so heavy.
Yeah, man. Like that was a
And
lot.
oh my god, I was so, and like I had the most gorgeous chat with Pangrat about like grief and like remembering him and like chatting about it, And like it's that weird thing of like I'm an only child.
Yeah.
But like in that moment I was so in, I was like, I have my baby brother went to war because of me and just fought, like he was alive like moments and he's gone. And
Yeah.
as I'm having like this chat with him, Gwynna walks over, having seen a messenger, and just goes, "They thought you might want to have this,"
Oh
and hands me
no.
back my opened letter.
Oh no.
I'm in
Oh
pieces.
man.
Um, and Kate knows there's a chance that like this was read for intelligence purposes, but the only thing she's sort of making peace with is that maybe he read it before and knows that she was proud of him.
Yeah.
And that like oh oh it was
God, that
so
must.
heavy.
Oh, that's so beautiful though.
Oh, it was gorgeous. I got this amazing moment out of it after I got the letter. I went and like sat over by a tree for a bit, and just like one, I needed like a real life decompression. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
yeah. It's a
I've
lot.
sobbed so, like this is so heavy
Yeah.
because it was like the back to back of like the knighthood like part, and then like this. I was like, oh, and Jester came over, and it was like I heard, I'm sorry, like offer my condolences, and Catherine was like, I need to thank you. And he was like, And I was like, I, I don't know if I trust you fully yet, but so far you've given me like no reason to doubt you. And because of you, there is a chance that I got to say one last goodbye to my brother, and I'll never forget that.
Ugh,
So I owe you a
gross.
debt.
Oh God.
And um, it was just a really lovely moment,
Yeah.
and of like little like character growth of like, right, still shady, will still end you if you hurt the company, but like I maybe got to say bye to
Yeah.
my brother in like a weird way, because like I don't know, I can't ever really know, but this is as
No.
close as I maybe got.
That's, but
um
again, like such
oh,
good plot. Like, oh God. And also,
it
again,
was
another
so
thing
good,
of,
so much fun.
and being like adaptive as well. Like they had no idea that you were going to write that letter. They had, and so like such
No,
a beautiful piece to it. Oh God, so good.
oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
um and I got a lot of people coming up to me and like giving their condolences, which was really sweet.
Yeah.
And then I found out the next day that Declan had gone over to Wanda and burst into tears and been like, she asked me to kill her and I really thought I was going to have to when she started screaming, like, I
Oh,
thought that was it. And he was like, I thought I was going to have to kill her, and I've had to kill friends before and I didn't want to. And he came over to, like, I walked over to Tulip and Declan, and he like came, like gave him the biggest hug and was like, I thought I was going to have to do it. Please don't ever make me do that again. Um,
oh,
and I
oh
Saturday night
man.
was heavy. It was
Yeah.
incredible, and the crew for writing and performing and like letting me have, like, that was more than I could have ever asked for Caltain's story.
Yeah.
Um, sorry, Sir Caltain
Ugh,
now, which is weird.
gross.
People started calling me Sir Caltain like the next day, and I was like, you know what, I kind of like it, but no.
No, no. Yeah.
So it was
That's a lot.
it was more than I could have ever imagined. It was
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, it was great. I had a fantastic time. It was just magical.
That's so
And I'm
good.
really grateful because it was just great.
Yeah. Oh God. So so yeah. Yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah.
Should we did Val didn't react quite as beautifully as
Val
that, did
didn't
she?
react quite as. Before I got
No.
the letter back and had my big talk on grief, there was a little bit of a
Oh God,
an
honestly.
intermediary of a
So
interlude. That's the word I'm looking for.
so but for anybody who was at Northern Kingdoms that knows what went down on Saturday and what we'll describe the bit that we were actively involved in. I'm very excited to see what occurs from it afterwards with the next event. but it's all very live game. We're not going to talk about it. But what we can talk about is Mal and her stupid anger issues. Um,
There they
because
are again.
oh God, honestly, woman needs therapy. But so so Mal, picture this, dear listener. Mal has been told that her best friend in the whole world is potentially going to be killed by another close friend of hers in the Free Company for standing up against a king who she doesn't really believe in, who she's been told that she has to bow to and also has to respect inherently because of the fact that they're a king. A concept that Mal doesn't really understand because Mal's grown up in a tiny village in Kedwen that doesn't really have monarchy. And like, even though I know that the Kedweni have leaders and they have a monarchy, but Mal's never experienced it. She's never seen it. She's never had to do any of that because she's been a frontline fighter. So she interacts with the king. Doesn't go down very well. She doesn't bow to the king. That doesn't go down very well. She then sees her best friend get brought to her knees and then just hears the word, "You are now a sworn Sidaran knight." And now this doesn't play in Mel's brain very well because the Free Company dictates free. Like this is the thing that Mal picked an issue with, is that the Free Company is a group of people from all around the world of The Witcher that come together to be free from various different organizations, yada yada. And this might not be what the purpose of the Free Company is, but this is what Mal thinks it is. And she's also been told by Cordelia that they can't. I can't remember what it was. It was like, you can't do this, you can't do that. The king is here. You can't act like this. So there's been this steady growth of Sidarans just telling Mel what she can't do and telling people what you're not allowed to do and what you're not doing. And, like barrier, barrier, barrier. And it's all building up. And then right at the end of the meeting, I think it was also Cordelia, just turns around and says, "Somebody tell the rest of the Free Company that they can do whatever they want now." And I was just there like, "Oh, were we not allowed to do what we'd like?" And it just like builds and builds, and to this point where like I think it was purely just all of the raw emotion because I saw that your brother had died as well, and I was there and I was like trying to comfort you, and then saw you get put to sleep, and I think the way that the anger that spouted was purely because Mal doesn't know how to regulate. And so it all comes out as just pure rage because she just sees something that she can't fix because it's not a gaping wound. And so it's that whole thing, right, of not being able to regulate. So she goes up to you and we do a little like very impromptu check-in. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen the clip of Billionaires with Damian Lewis, where they're like acting behind a soundproof booth, where they're like, "I'm really angry at you right now, but go along with it." And that's what we kind of did. And it was impromptu. And it became a huge argument.
I was so just like I said, I was so tapped out of emotion. I was like, yeah, go for it. And then like, you were like, am I okay to get like really angry? I was like, you know what, go for it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, do you want to punch me then, Mal? Go on, punch me.
Yeah.
And like, we just start a fist fighting.
Oh my God, it was so fun though. It was so fun
because I was like, Caltaine doesn't care at this point. Her brother's dead. She's just become like, this has all happened in the space of 10 minutes. Like, if her best mate wants to punch her, let off some steam. Like, she didn't see it as like, she was like, no, this is Mal just needing to like burn off steam basically. And you know what? So do I.
It was so good though.
And Wanda was there with a tankard watching like,
I loved it.
Literally like,
I got 2 solid punches in, and then you punched me, and I just wheeled around, and I was like, "You don't get to fucking touch me," and just like let you have it again. And I was like,
it was so good.
And we all know that Caltane would have absolutely leveled Mal. Like,
Wreck shop.
like, absolutely. She would have been dusted. Like Loki and the Hulk in Avengers Assemble kind of levels of beating up. Like, that would have been it.
Oh,
So it was like, we kind of both knew that it was going to be just blowing off steam and just, oh God,
yeah.
it was so
Also,
cathartic.
Kelsey didn't see an actual. Not like she didn't see an actual threat, but like her source pilot, like this is a friend. This isn't an actual thing she needs to be
Yeah.
fighting. Like this was,
No.
yeah.
This is
It was
purely
just a blow off steam.
yeah. And it was interesting, and I've never actually reacted like that before, and it's given me a lot to think about, and I think I'm still very much processing it. It's like this
It was a
whole
big
thing.
night.
It was a big night. But it's interesting, and it's created this dynamic that I'm really excited to explore come future events. But we'll talk about that about the Sunday episode. Bum bum bum. Like,
Oh, the
oh
Sunday.
God.
Somehow it gets worse.
Oh God, honestly, like it boggles
Oh
my
God.
mind. It's so weird.
It was so good. It was the best weekend. It was just the best
Yeah, it
weekend.
was
It
so
was
good.
sick.
It was a very interesting and novel way to explore a lot of emotional responses, and I'm so grateful that we had that chance. I think it's going to be really good. But yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so
I'm
much for sitting
excited
down with
to.
me again.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah. And thank you so much for listening, everybody. Thank you for everybody who interacts with us on Facebook, on Discord, on all of the various different platforms. Thank you to our Patreons who, as always, keep the lights on, keep us functioning. We've talked about it a million times before. I hate talking about money, don't like it. But anybody who can support us to help keep the lights on, we greatly, greatly appreciate it. In especially, thank you so much to James Griffin this week. Thank you so much. You've been supporting us since October 20. Well, that's helpful, Patreon. Thank you very much. October 2024. So thank you so much. You're incredible. I'll see you. I'll see you for Sunday, Mary.
Yeah, see you in a bit.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.